Time for more coffee stories. Dave and Ian here from the Driftaway roasting team, previewing our whole bean and ground coffee offerings for June and July.
We have one more coffee from Papua New Guinea in the classic profile this year. It was impossible not to include this coffee once we tasted it. It has complex, dense, and layered flavors and makes a great counterpoint to the clear and light flavors of PGE Mount Elambari in the classic profile we offered in March.
Papua New Guinea is located on one half of a large island at the southwestern end of the Indonesian archipelago. Mount Hagen is a city within the Western Highlands that is high in the mountains in the middle of the island.
This coffee was recommended to me by Crop to Cup, a local coffee importer in Brooklyn. I wasn't looking for another Papua New Guinea coffee, but was told that I should really check this one out. After tasting it, I knew it was a special coffee. This coffee was collected from small farms nearby the Roteps washing station where it is milled and dried. Trucks from Rotep are sent out to retrieve bags of coffee cherry for milling each day during the harvest over rugged terrain. The fresh coffee cherries must be delivered quickly to preserve their flavor. This coffee's exceptional quality is a testament to the talent and hard work of the farmers and millers associated with Roteps.
Say at least 90% of coffee out of PNG is not from the States. It's hard to have an estate. You have a lot of land that only you control and that nobody lives on or very few people live on. So most coffee does come from smallholders, very small production, very low intensity farming, oftentimes not even very focused farming. It's the sort of stuff that grows on the property, less so like, hey, I'm a coffee farmer, this is what I produce. So most of it does go from smallholders and then up to these large washing stations that are throughout the country. It's moved usually by trucks, large trucks, collectors, middlemen, whatever you want to call them. But these middlemen play a critical role. I see them as much needed partners in the supply chain for these washing stations because many of these smallholders are quite remote and they have no way to get their coffee to the market unless there is somebody willing to take a truck all the way up, 10 different mountain roads, each different valley, once or twice a week to collect from these guys and bring them to the stations. While the farms are very small, maybe a few hundred or 1,000 trees of low productivity, these washing stations are massive. Most of them are massive. And that's why it's usually just sold as a grain. Yeah. You might get a container every few days out of some of these stations.
And that's kind of how Roteps operates as well, right? It's just they're sending out a truck to collect cherry from small farmers and then mill it. Yeah. And what would the scale of that washing station be compared
it's
to
much
the
smaller than what I'm talking about, and that's why it was originally of interest to us. They're doing about, I would say, 3 to 4 containers right now. Mm-hmm. It took them a while to get started up recently. They needed some financing to get moving. It hasn't been an established washing station of these huge PNG coffee producing families or coffee processing families for the past decades. It's relatively new. I think only a few years ago it was getting up and running. It's a smaller version of these large washing stations, but big enough to allow us, the ability to choose different lots, to have some professional management as far as washing and drying and ensuring things don't get fermented, and a large enough space and a large enough staff that's able to turn the coffee often enough. Most coffee in PNG at these stations is dried on just football fields full of long tarps. It is very consolidated, the industry in PNG. There's literally the airstrip of Goroka town. Along the airstrip, there's a chain link fence about 5 feet high. And then you have all the mills and their parking lots right there. You don't board your plane until you're sitting in the cupping lab window and you see the little prop plane arrive. And plane's here, let's go. Let's go get on the plane. So it's very easy, but very, it's consolidated. Fun, guys. Thanks for the chat.
Sure.
All right.
Talk to you
later.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
This coffee has notes of butterscotch, cocoa, and black tea. Its most striking feature is its heavy body, which has layers of sweet and dynamic flavors and a pleasant, toasty finish. We recommend brewing this on an auto-drip coffee maker or a French press. For more info about this coffee, visit driftaway.coffee/PMH and visit the links in the description below for our other profiles this month. Just a reminder that we also sell coffee brewing supplies. Check out our work-from-home coffee kit in the shop drop-down menu for your home grinding and brewing needs. Thanks for checking out Coffee Stories. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next month.